Hi, I'm Holly Smale and I am the author of the Geek Girl series and my brand new series, The Valentines, and the first book in the series is called Happy Go Lucky. It is the story of Hope, who is the youngest Valentine's sister. She's very excited because when she's 15 at the moment. When she's 16, she becomes famous like her parents and her siblings and her grandparents and her great-grandparents. So she is preparing for that moment, but things aren't going quite to plan. I'm here in Waterstones Piccadilly today and I wanted to share 3 books that are really important to me, that I loved when I was younger and that were really instrumental in inspiring this book series. So come with me and I'll show you them. So the first book I'm going to look at was one of my favourites as a kid and definitely the first inspiration for the Valentine series. Ballet Shoes by Noel Stretfield. My mum got me this when I was really quite small because I was really into ballet. I did ballet every week and I wanted to be a ballerina for a very small amount of time. I actually wanted to be a ballerina part-time scientist, so basically science during the day, ballet at night. That was the plan. And so my mum went and got me this as something to kind of like deepen my love for it. And it became a complete obsession. And the 3 sister dynamic was something that really excited me. Pauline, Petrova and Posy as 3 orphans who are found by Uncle Gum and brought back, given the surname Fossil because he collected fossils, and then it's about their kind of attempt to hit the ballet world essentially. And I think it was something that not only felt incredibly glamorous to me when I was young, but also felt really relatable because I had a little sister as well. And I think that kind of impulse to work out which sister I was really strong. And to the point where each sister got a necklace in the book, a different one for each of their kind of personality types. And I was so obsessed with having my own necklace and being one of the sisters that I made my mum go out and buy me a jewel necklace, and she came back with a garnet rosary, which was exactly what I was asking for. But yeah, I was obsessed with working out which sister I was, and I think I wanted to be Petrova, who's the kind of car-obsessed tomboy, but secretly knew that I was probably Pauline, which was a bit depressing. But yeah, this really inspired me as a child, and when I came to write The Valentines, this 3 sister dynamic was something that I really wanted to explore further. The second book I'm going to show you is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. And this was probably as special to me as it is to so many millions and millions of girls and women and men all over the world. And I became obsessed with it, and I was thinking about why it became so important to me. And yes, it does have that kind of the background of something that's quite serious going on. The Civil War's sort of bubbling along in the background, but those 4 girls have such a grounded and real relationship in life that even though it was set so many years before I was born, it still felt very real and relatable to me as a 10 or 11-year-old girl. And again, I was trying to work out while reading it which of the sisters I was. And again, I think it was a massive disappointment to me because I think that I wanted to be Jo, I wanted to be the writer, I wanted to be the adventurer who cut off her hair and sold it, and ultimately didn't pick Laurie. But unfortunately, I think deep down I knew that I was an Amy, and that's a sad life disappointment to me. But in terms of inspiring my book, this was pretty fundamental as well. I really wanted to capture that kind of, you know, the exoticness of a family that you don't know, that you haven't met, but that feels so real and so completely relatable. And I mean, so many decades later, I can still remember the lines that Amy gets in trouble for at school, and the soiled glove that Meg and Jo share at the ball, and the little tiny moments are still really vivid to me. So when I was writing The Valentines, I really wanted to give that sense that they were real people having real moments that you could really connect to, no matter how old you were or when you were living. So yeah, this was fundamental, and so sad that I'm still an Amy. So for the third book I'm going to look at, we've actually come downstairs into the classics section and the poetry section, where we will be looking at actually one of the first stories I ever loved, way before I found Ballet Shoes, way before I read Little Women. I was read Tennyson by my mum when I was about 2 or 3 years old. She was an English teacher who had no concept of age-appropriate reading, and so she read me a lot of the classics. She read me Goblin Market and Hiawatha. So I was getting a lot of kind of of poetry, and the one that I really attached to quite strongly was Alfred Lord Tennyson and The Lady of Shalott, which I think really ignited a love of language. First of all, the sounds of the poem were so incredibly absorbing to me when I was really small, and the rhyme and the rhythm. But the story itself was so romantic and so fairy tale like and so dramatic that as a small kid I was completely lit up by it, and I used to ask for it every night. And it also used to really frustrate me because as a feminist and as someone who has instinctively been feminist my entire life, even as a really small kid, I was frustrated by the ending of Lady of Shalott because, you know, obviously, spoilers, she dies for love, essentially. And then Lancelot basically goes, cool, she was hot. So I remember feeling really angry about it as a small kid, like, how is that fair? And when I came to write the Valentines, very soon within writing Hope's story, I realised that I was essentially writing an update. I was writing about a young girl who was essentially trapped in a very luxurious situation in a big house, but unable to leave and unable to live her life. Much as Lady of Shalott is trapped in her tower and is only able to watch the world through a mirror. And then I realised it was kind of a love story, and that Hope would then meet a knight or a prince and escape to try and be with him. So I realised that I was essentially doing a contemporary version of The Lady of Shalott, which kind of gave another layer to the book and really kind of, for me, brought it alive. And I managed to weave the poem through the book. There's even a point where Hope is in class studying it and she's not academic, and she is really frustrated that she's being forced to write this old dude poem, which I enjoyed really, kind of making into comedy. But for me, it was really, really important, and being able to bring something that was so special to me as a kid and so inspirational into my books has really meant a huge amount to me as a writer, and hopefully that will come out in the reading of it. So yes, Tennyson, an unexpected but beloved book from my young childhood.